What's going on, guys? Doing the shock replacement. It's a busted shock, first repair I had to do on this truck. Totally my fault, not the truck's fault. So, basically, I already got this partially off. Oh, actually, it's off now. This, it's pretty cut and dry. Gets top off. There's nothing really to see here. I just want to make sure anybody that is uncomfortable with working on this truck can kind of feel comfortable. It's a 2mm hex on the bottom here. So unscrew the arm, which pay attention. And if you want to keep the suspension the same, you can always look at the other side, but sometimes if you take both off, you might not see it. Pay attention to the hole that you're taking it out of. And clearly this one's going to be easy to tell, probably because of the screw head mark. That thing, I guess it just broke. I don't know, just pulled through. That looks like the piston right there. I don't know. Either way, we're going to change it out. Now, my purpose was I was only going to change out, one. If something broke, like this arm broke, I was going to change it out actually and try to upgrade it, but can't do that yet, so I guess we'll be doing plastic if I do break anything. But the, being that, these, I think the ones I'm about to put on them are slightly lower, not by much. If anything, it'd be just a hair off, but I just want the suspension to be even, so I think I'm going to replace them both. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all cleaned up a little bit. We'll go ahead and get this back on. I'll get the shock on. We'll pop it back into place and then go from there. Definitely got to put my shock oil, so I got to dig out some stuff anyway. Alright, so in doing this as well, I got to get this drive shaft back in, and since it probably came out upon force on that rock hit, you got to basically loosen this. So it's a 2.5, or I'm sorry, it's a, grabbed the wrong one. It's a 2.5. Just screw this out a little bit, and eventually, doing both. I needed to adjust mine anyway. I was going to let it rock for a little bit, but one of them was off more than the other, so I'll probably just adjust it as I put it back in. Now you want to pay attention, now that I unscrewed this as well, to how far out the thread was off the ball. You want to keep your wheelbase the same. You don't want to have it out too far. I think that should be good now. It's exactly how it came out. Pulled that shock bottom out. That wheel must have got jerked downward and pulled that shock out. Like I said, I saw it come off that rock, so I'm not mad at the truck. I really thought something else might have been broken on that. Dead stop. Alright, let me get this cleaned back up. I'm going to screw these back on, adjust them, get my camber right, and we'll go from there. They are probably about alright, so from center to center, they are about 7.54 millimeters, 7.5 millimeters different length. So making up for at least a couple, one or two here. So it's still going to have a flatter suspension unless I move this shock, I think in or out, one of them. Yeah, you move it in and it should push the arm down more. So that's what I'll probably do eventually, but right now you gotta remove this to do it. So I'm going to take it out now and see. It gives me resistance, as far as keeping it from tipping, and a little bit more stability when I lean into my turns, because this thing did want to go sideways on me a bunch. And the Terra Moto 10, when I put a smaller shock on it, it actually it did the same thing. It actually kept it down and made it slide instead of, you know, tip. So it was like almost unflippable. So all right, we're gonna get the shock back on and get the wheelie bar down and get this thing back out. So all right, so just one thing real quick. While you're adjusting the wheelie bar, you're going to have to get the 2 old nuts out of the other one. Unless you only move it one, then you only got to worry about one. But they're just little 3mm nuts, and they fit right into that hole, but you need to get them out of there. And I used my, which I don't recommend, but tried not to turn it much, but I used my 1.5 to get in there and kind of pry it out is what I kind of had to do. But eventually it came, so now you can put your screws back in, it locks into place, and the screws should just tighten for you. Alright, so I mean that's just something I wanted to bring up because I wasn't getting it biting, and I don't remember having to do that with the big one. But I've got the shock back on, so I mean sometimes when you're doing things, you know, you're just not going to take no for an answer. And I mean, I wanted these shocks to work. I knew they were just, I put them side by side. I mean, they're just a tad, and when I take this one off, I'll show you, they're just a tad smaller. Not much at all, but what I did to compensate was I put it in the front inner hole area here, just so I had the extra suspension. I mean, I can already tell the spring back this gives you versus what I had here. I mean, that's where it should be, or at least like that. And it wants to sag just by touching it, and it doesn't come back up. So that's what we were having. I mean, now even just one side being done, it's coming back up either way. So once this gets done, the whole front end, I mean, I got 50 weight in it right now, but the whole weight change is going to be better. I'll be able to get some landing on this thing. One thing I did have to do though, I mean, I do like these shocks for this thing. We'll see how that performs afterwards, but since this plastic is kind of a little fatter, this is held on by this washer here. So over here, these are smaller and I couldn't do it. So I put a bearing, just like an outer bearing from a Volcano. Put that on there, put the washer on. It's solid as can be. It's got the same pivot and movement that it had, but it can't come any further. So it's the perfect gap. I mean, it's perfect for me. I don't need to do anything else with it. It rotates. I mean, the bearing still moves, so it's doing exactly what I thought it would do. So if it works and gets rid of these shocks for the value of these that, you know, you can get starting with the plastic bodied ones, it's well worth the upgrade from what I've seen already. So this, you know, even with some shock oil, I don't think it's going to help that too much. But I'm going to wait. I'm not going to upgrade these just yet. Maybe next time. I want to see if they break. You know, I don't want to go putting aluminum all over everything if I can tell you the right front's going to break, or if this was just a fluke, which I know it's not a fluke, but it happens. I mean, the way it came down was just wrong. So, all right, I'm going to get this thing back together, get this done on the other side over here. Other than that, it's ready to go. I just cleaned it up a little bit, you know, for the second run, but you know, she's ready to roll out again.